A trip to the car wash for one woman in East Point left her without a car. She said she was there for less than 5 minutes when a guy hopped in and drove off.
I was watching it in the front. I did not see the young man sneak up behind me.
Why is she smiling, man? And what the heck is that in her hair? I mean, very interesting hairstyle. Whatever. What's funny about this? And why is he a young man? Because these are the type of sisters that cuss me out on Twitter and call me a coon in my YouTube comment section. They used to call me the most vile, B-ass, you don't get on Facebook when I used to post my videos on Facebook. Now, this guy's a young man and she laughing, and this was wrong with the community, man. You sisters, man. Y'all the only ones y'all the ones that started the Black Lives Matter movement and the criminal justice reform and the treat criminals with kid gloves and be nice and cuddly and warm and fuzzy with thugs. Y'all started that movement. Y'all the only ones that's gonna be able to galvanize a movement. I get it. The men gotta do what they gotta do, but you sisters gonna keep getting whacked out and carjacked 10, 20 times more than any other group of women until y'all start a movement to deal with this crime in our community. Stop laughing about every damn thing.
I was watching it in the front. I did not see the young man sneak up behind me.
Surveillance footage shows the dramatic moments on video. On the left, that's Tara Jones with the hose in her hand, cleaning off her Dodge Challenger. The guy approaches from behind the car and jumps behind the wheel. She blasted him with water in hopes he'd run off.
These little dudes is super sneaky, man. These some sneaky little dudes, man. Like they always you gotta look around, man. You see them, like she probably saw him walking down the street and lost sight of him. You gotta keep them in your sight. Anytime you see one of these little son thugs and you see them and then you don't see them again, and you know they ain't had no car, you know their pants sagging, so they couldn't have got that far away. Next time you see, they punching your face or stealing your car or some shit. You gotta keep a read on them. You gotta know their location. Like you doing a stakeout. I lost sight in the perp. I lost the visual. Anybody got a visual on the perp? You gotta keep a visual on them. Dang, man. What a world. And only thing if you go to her Twitter or Facebook, only tough talk and gangster talk she got is probably for cops. And white people, she be begging for money on Juneteenth.
Surveillance footage shows the dramatic moments on video. On the left, that's Tara Jones with the hose in her hand, cleaning off her Dodge Challenger. The guy approaches from behind the car and jumps behind the wheel. She blasted him with water in hopes he'd run off. It didn't work.
I grabbed hold to the side mirror as he was speeding up. You know, I had to let go or he was going to drag me.
Which is ironically how a cop was killed the other day at a traffic stop. It wasn't a big story because it was a cop getting killed. But cop was killed the other day just like this, dragged.
This all happened at Jay's Car Wash on Washington Road in East Point earlier this month, but she's still searching for answers. The suspect is seen from another camera emerging from the back seat of a dark gray Honda near the vacuums.
Just look, they've been riding around. They just preying on people. They just riding They probably had and just, we used to do this. This is when I was 15, 16, 17 years old. Walking around looking for somebody to rob. And it'd be a lot of people that didn't get robbed because when we was just about to pounce on them, somebody came out of their house. Or a car pulled up and tried to park like right in front of this where we was about to get them, or a cop rolled past. So it would be like fits and starts, and we might be walking around for hours before we find the right certain conditions that we could rob somebody. We didn't want anybody else to be on the block. We didn't want anybody to be sitting on their porch. We didn't want any cars really riding past. Sometimes we didn't care about the cars riding past, as long as it wasn't a cop car, or as long as it wasn't a person parking on the street. Because it was democratically run city, we knew the person wasn't packing. So the type of people we was looking for wasn't packing. But yeah, look how sneaky they are. And she could have had a baby in the... Listen, look how sneaky they are. They sneaking around. This is how they shoot people. They sneak around and they shoot each other. Everything they do is sneaky. These some sneaky little sun thugs out here. They sneaky.
The suspect is seen from another camera emerging from the back seat of a dark gray Honda near the vacuums.
What was going through my mind at the point, I just couldn't believe it, because I've been to 1,000 self-car washes, and I would have never imagined that this would happen.
Jones said she's a 20-year Army veteran that just moved to East Point less than 2 months ago. While she regrets leaving the keys in the ignition, it's a lesson, she said, she learned the hard way.
Hey, you got to watch where you at, anywhere. It don't matter who it is. You know what I'm saying? You have to watch wherever you are in Atlanta. You have to make sure that you are prepared for wherever you go. Wherever you go, you got to make sure you're prepared.
The car is a white 2016 Dodge Challenger with black stripes near the back wheels. Jones said as the guy was fleeing, he hit another car coming out of the car wash, so it has front end damage. She's asking anyone with information to call police. Rob DiRienzo, Fox 5 News.
New at 10, a man on his bike riding through a busy intersection. Then he's suddenly surrounded, pushed, and pulled off his bike. The thief and his crew gone in seconds. Tonight, neighbors say it's a growing problem in the heart of the Loop. That's where our Jermont Terry is live.
Neighbors say that this is a growing problem. Growing, right? How many of y'all want... hit one if you think that problem is a full-grown adult. They try to make it seem like the problem is growing, like it's a breastfeeding baby that's just growing and growing every day. No, this is a full-grown, bearded, buff man of a problem. Okay? Right?
That's where our Jermont Terry is live. Good evening, Jermont.
Good evening, Brad. Now, this was a random attack Wednesday night, and you know those blue divvy bikes that we see around town? It helped this crew get away. And tonight, those living and working in this area telling me it's only getting worse. Watch as this man on the bike is pulled by his backpack, thrown to the ground, then kicked by a guy. The attack blocked traffic and went down in the heart of the Loop.
Petty stuff is adding up to higher crimes.
Jason.
Petty? I bet it was petty for you because you wasn't involved. I bet that guy almost had a heart attack. Because your first inclination if somebody tries to take you off your bike is to punch him. But he know if he would have punched that guy or swung on him, they probably would have killed him. These people... petty? Yeah, it's petty if you give them up. If you fight for your stuff, if you like, hey, man, he just gave it up. Yeah, so it was a petty crime. It ended up being petty because he just relented.
Petty stuff is adding up to higher crimes.
Jason Quach lives and works in the area. He talked to detectives about what's considered an attack.
Can't believe it was happening right here. And, you know, what if that was me? What if that was someone I know?
He just got flagged down by a citizen. He's relating to me that 4 to 5 male ones just...
Male ones. 4 to 5 male ones. I learned this as being a security guard. 1 is black, 2 is white, 3 is Hispanic. So when you hear like on the scanner, like you're talking right now on the walkie-talkie, the scanner, when you hear B1 or black BM1, there's a for one male 1. Those are black men.
He just got flagged down by a citizen. He's relating to me that 4 to 5 male ones just stole his bike. They hit him in his head.
The assault involves up to 7 people. Watch closely. The group is all on divvy bikes, essentially waiting on someone to target. When they spot the guy on Madison, those on the divvy bikes surrounded him, allowing the guy without a bike to step in and attack, leaving the victim helpless.
Worried, scared, and, safety of the people around here.
Here's why. Quach says the corner is a problem. Video shows large crowds gathering. He says every weekend.
They would run in the middle of the street. They would jump on top of cars or sit on top of cars, screaming, yelling. They would shove and push each other.
What does that sound like? Jumping on top of cars. Think about it, man. Does it sound like this group is freedom? They live in a society where their freedom is constantly do they look like they care about their freedom? Do it look like they care about the prison industrial complex or the jail or interaction with a cop? Does this look like a group that's afraid of cops? Which is the biggest lie ever. These people ain't afraid of cops. These people encounter cops all the time. Look what they're doing. Look where they're at. Like, this ain't like down by the river under an overpass. This is downtown. They're jumping onto the hood of people's cars that are just driving down the street, random people. And if one of them people shoot them, if they black, it'd be a local story. But if one of those people shoot them and they're not black, CNN will be talking about how these kids are victims or something, or they're viewed, though there's not enough community, there ain't enough rec centers for them to play at, so it's really our fault for not building them enough rec centers and enough rec centers and enough places to to spend their time, and enough basketball courts or schools out, and COVID. In some way, it's going to be somebody else's fault. If one of these people whose car they jumped on and jumped up and down on their car, one of those people shoots them, it's going to be everybody's fault.
Here's why. Quach says the corner is a problem. Video shows large crowds gathering. He says every weekend.
They would run in the middle of the street. They would jump on top of cars or sit on top of cars, screaming, yelling. They would shove and push each other. It seems dangerous these days.
Often when Chicago police respond, little is done to keep them moving or control the rowdiness.
Don't feel safe walking around at night.
This is right on Jewelers Row, where plenty of security cameras are recording.
I don't think they even care. They just want to get what they can and just take off.
Listen to this guy. Just listen to what he says. He's there on the ground. He's there watching this he's not just watching the little bit we see. He sees all the stuff that doesn't make the news, the local news. Listen to what he says.
Don't feel safe walking around at night.
This is right on Jewelers Row, where plenty of security cameras are recording.
I don't think they even care. They just want to get what they can and just take off. They don't care about the camera. They don't care about trying to blend in or anything.
Now, Chicago police did arrest that guy a short while later on the stolen bike, but the others on the divvy bikes, they were not caught just yet. We should point out that the man was not seriously hurt despite being knocked over his head. Neighbors and those working in this area just telling me that they would like increased and enforced patrols. Reporting live in the Loop tonight, Jermont Terry. Brad, back to you.
Jermont, thank you.